Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to Emergency Management Associates, coming to you from the Area Command, 392 miles west of Kitty Hawk Beach, North Carolina. We want to welcome all of you to our program tonight. We have a lot of things to talk about, so let's get started with what we have for you. There's a lot of stuff going on. I'm going to be quite honest with you. There are a lot of things going on that we need to discuss, and some of it is not good. Some of it is not good, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It's not good at all. I want to first start off with something that can be concerning a lot of people. Early this morning, Monday morning, Pope Francis passed away. Pope Francis in Rome passed away. This is Pope Francis with Church of Jesus Christ Latter-day Saint President Russell M. Nelson back in 2019. Today, the First Presidency wrote, "We join the world in mourning the passing of His Holiness Pope Francis. Countless lives have been blessed by his courageous and compassionate leadership. We extend our heartfelt condolences to all who looked at him for inspiration and counsel. As the world pauses to remember his example of forgiveness and service, we feel deep gratitude for the goodness of a life well lived and rejoice in the hope of a glorious resurrection made possible through the atoning sacrifice of Jesus Christ." In 2019, President Nelson met with Pope Francis inside the Vatican, which is what is known as the first meeting of its kind between an LDS leader and the Pope. There are other pictures here as well. Let me show you some other pictures here. This is the Pope shaking hands with President Nelson again in 2019. President Nelson and his entourage presented the Pope with several gifts, one of them being a statue of Christus, the Christus statue that is displayed over in Copenhagen, Denmark, and also here in Salt Lake City, Utah, and also in Rome, in the Rome LDS Visitor Center in Rome. Also on the right-hand side in a plaque is the family proclamation from the First Presidency and the Quorum of the 12 Apostles of the LDS Church. This was presented to Pope Francis back in 2019. It's with our heartfelt condolences we honor Pope Francis tonight. He was a great man. He had compassion on a lot of people. He was one of the first popes from Argentina. He was one of the first popes from Argentina, and we honor that tonight. It's a wonderful thing to have been said that he was from Argentina. A wonderful man. Wonderful, wonderful man. Now, folks, we have to honor him. We need to honor him. Now, there are a lot of things been said about Pope Francis, good and bad. But I'm going to honor him tonight with some of the things that we know about him. Now, earlier today, Pope Francis' death certificate was released. There was a lot of talk earlier today that Vice President Vance killed the Pope, which is a lot of crap. Vice President Vance met with Pope Francis yesterday on Easter morning in Rome. He paid honor to Pope Francis. Today, Pope Francis's death certificate was released, and it has a lot of information we wanted to share with you tonight. I believe we need to talk to you about it. Pope Francis's death certificate was released by the Vatican. Said he had died in his apartment at 7:35 a.m. this morning from cerebral stroke, coma, and irreversible cardiocirculatory collapse, heart attack. Cerebral stroke means there was a loss of blood flow to the brain. An irreversible cardiocirculatory collapse indicates he had a sudden failure of the heart to maintain blood flow throughout the body. He was also affected by a previous episode of acute respiratory failure of a bilateral multimicrobial pneumonia, double pneumonia, multiple bronchiosis, arterial hypertension, and type 2 diabetes. Rosary prayer service is now underway in St. Peter's Square. Ahead of the first reading, Cardinal Monroe Gambietti, Archpriest of St. Peter's Basilica, read an introduction. He noted how Pope Francis asked people to pray for him so many times. Now we want to pray for him. Harris called Pope Francis a visionary leader. Former Vice President Harris, in a statement, called Pope Francis a visionary leader who dedicated his life to service and justice. He encouraged us to protect our planet. He championed a more inclusive church and cared for all of God's children, especially the most vulnerable around us. We pray for His Holiness Pope Francis, and we join people from around the world in mentioning his loss. Pope Francis dead today at 88 years of age. I want to pay tribute to him tonight and thank you, Pope Francis, for all you've done for humanity. He was a great man. He's a wonderful man. We thank him for his service. May God prepare a special place in his kingdom for you today, throughout eternity. Pope Francis again passed away today at 88 years of age. Thank heavens for his service. A lot of people would not be here today if it wasn't for Pope Francis. Thank you so much for his service. Now, there's something else we need to talk about, okay? Today, there's been a lot of talk about what is happening here in our United States. Now, I don't have any specific references to show you, but I will put those references in the top of our program description as soon as we find them later on tonight. But I want to tell you this. President Trump has filed a lawsuit against the Clintons, against former FBI Director Comey, McCabe, against the former senator or congresswoman from Montana, Cheney, Mr. and Senator Pencil-neck Schiff, and all the others that tried to make an example of President Trump by their lying and conniving and BS crap going on during the past 6 years. They tried to impeach President Trump twice, once successfully and once unsuccessfully. They tried to make President Trump seem like a liar, which he's not. They tried to tell us President Trump could not do anything for anybody here in the United States. And today, President Trump has filed suit against all those who tried to make him seem like he was not what he is. He's filed a RICO lawsuit against everybody that went up against him. It's a big deal. It's a huge deal. So President Trump is standing up for what he was and what he is today. He's standing up for the presidency of the United States as well. But Pencil-neck Schiff, Liz Cheney, Senator Schumer, Vice President, not former Vice President, but President Clinton and his wife Hillary, all those who went after him, including McCabe and Comey with the FBI, going up against all of them. Huge lawsuit filed today in Washington, D.C. They're going to take those people apart. There's a lot of evidence against them. Now, Picoy says she's not a Catholic, once was, but she gave it up for Lent 85 years ago. I'm not a Catholic either. I'm LDS. I don't believe in the Catholic Church, however. You have to give it to the Pope for what he's done. I'm never going to hold the Pope against anything. He was a great man. He's a great man. Now, Shelley Danes here says, oh my gosh, it's going down, Ron. It's going down finally. I agree. I totally agree. It's about time that President Trump went up against these people. The FBI, Kash Patel, Dan Bongino, Pam Bondi. The entire Justice Department is going up against these hellions that tried to put Trump into the bad light, tried to go up against Trump, falsely accused President Trump, and also that idiot over in New York City, the Attorney General of New York City. She's going to have hell to pay. Okay? She's going to have hell to pay. Miss Trish is up against the wall. She's also having charges filed against her for fraud. Real estate fraud, federal charges of fraud, all kinds of charges against her. The same charges she went up and pressed against President Trump. But this time, it's against her. And there's plenty of evidence against her. She's going to go down big time. She's going to go down big time. Okay? It's sad. It's sad. All these people that went up against President Trump and lied about him, they're facing their trials now. Okay? Shelley Dean says, Guantanamo Bay, open your grand doors. I agree. I hope they all go up against Guantanamo Bay and never leave there. Okay? They never leave there. Charlene Savant says her Savior is Jesus, not the Pope. I agree. The Pope is not the Savior. The Pope is never the Savior. Never was, never will be. Now, folks, this is real. And as I get more and more information, I'll share it with you. But that's what's happening here in the United States. Now, I want to go immediately over to earthquakes and volcanoes. We have a lot to talk about when it comes to earthquakes. A lot of earthquakes. Let's go and show you the USGS map first. Okay? Let's go over here and show you the USGS map first. It's incredible what we have tonight. I'm going to back this out. Yes, you see earthquakes down here in the Imperial Valley. I'll talk about these earthquakes a little bit. Okay, this is over in Calipatria, California. They are showing us here approximately 5 or 6 earthquakes. 5 or 6 earthquakes. Guess what? There are 75 earthquakes right here today. And they're showing us 4? Really? Really? We'll come back and talk about this in a few minutes. It's incredible what they're not showing us, guys. It really is. It's incredible what they're not showing us. That is what's most important. Okay? Let's go down here to the South Pacific. The South Pacific Ocean is where all the earthquakes begin. That's where all the earthquakes around the world originate, is down here in the South Pacific. USGS is hardly showing anything going on. This earthquake in the south of Fiji, okay? This is a 4.4 earthquake. But what you need to know about this is it is a deep quake. This is 560 kilometers deep. This 4.4 earthquake is going to propagate a 5.2 large earthquake. This 4.4 moderate earthquake is going to propagate a 5.2 earthquake sometime within the next 3 to 10 days. So expect to see another large 5.2 earthquake within the next 3 to 10 days, either in this area or as far east as Chile, Argentina area, or even further to the west, over here in the Legacy Islands here to the southwest, over here in Vanuatu, the Solomon Islands, all throughout this area. We fully expect a 5.2 earthquake to be here very shortly. Very, very shortly. Again, they're not showing anything in Australia. They're not showing anything in Papua New Guinea, which is a lie. There are earthquakes there. There are moderate earthquakes here in Papua Indonesia and Papua New Guinea. We go over here to northern Indonesia. This is a 4.7 earthquake here at Modisi, Indonesia. This is 35 kilometers deep. Again, look what they're not showing us. Look what they're not showing us. There are 19 earthquakes here in the Indonesia area, and they're showing us 1. They're showing us 1. There are 4 volcanoes going off here in Indonesia. They're not even talking about it. Let's go up here to southeastern Mindanao, Philippines here. This is a 4.5 earthquake. 4.5 earthquake, 10.0 kilometers deep, meaning 6.2 miles deep here. Okay? Further north. Okay? That's just off the coast. Earlier this weekend, on Saturday, we had a 5.3 earthquake down here on the southwest coast of Mindanao, Philippines. That earthquake was out in the water. However, it was only, I believe, 24 kilometers southwest of Mindanao, Philippines. That this area here, the Philippines, felt this quake. Look at this. This is a very populated area. These people felt this earthquake. These people felt that earthquake. Okay? It wasn't right on the money on the coastline. Some of the seismic energy was deflected by the Pacific Ocean waters here. Okay? But look over here to Bangui, Philippines here. Okay? This is a island here in northern Philippines. This is the second largest island in the Philippines. Okay? This is a 4.5 earthquake here. A 4.5 moderate earthquake here. This is 66 kilometers deep. 66 kilometers deep. Interesting. Let's go over here to the Mariana Islands. Here, actually, this is just north of Mariana Islands in the Bonan Islands of Japan. This is a moderate 4.0 earthquake. This earthquake is 431 kilometers deep. A moderately deep earthquake. Moderately deep earthquake. This earthquake was going to probably propagate a 4.8 earthquake as a result of this earthquake today, because it's moderately deep. But it's only going to generate a maximum of a 4.8 earthquake. Okay, let's go over here to Honshu, Japan. Over here. Look at this. This earthquake is a 4.5 earthquake in one of the most populated areas of Japan. This is 2 kilometers north of Kasakuabe, Japan. It's a very populated area. Look at this. 4.5 moderate earthquake. This is 120 kilometers deep. Still a fairly shallow earthquake. People felt this here. Moderate shaking here. Now, while it's moderate shaking, it probably did very minimal damage, if anything. But I want to show you where it is. It's in a very populated area of Japan. We've seen earthquakes hit here before that were even much stronger than this. Okay? To the north, out here in the Pacific Ocean. This is a 4.5 earthquake here. This is 56 kilometers east-northeast of Tomioka, Japan. Tomioka, Japan. This is offshore, and as a result, this is not going to affect anybody. It has not affected anybody onshore at all. Okay? It's far enough offshore, only the Pacific Ocean waters absorb the shockwaves of this quake. Nothing's going to happen. Off the southeast side of Hokkaido, here, this is a 4.1 earthquake near Hiron, Japan, Hiron, Japan. This is 87 kilometers deep. 87 kilometers deep. It's also 56 kilometers offshore of Hiron, Japan. The ocean waters of the Pacific Ocean absorb the shockwaves of this quake. Now, while that is here in the Southeast Asia area, USBS is also not showing any earthquakes over here in Myanmar province here. Myanmar is still having moderate earthquakes hit here. This whole area is still subject to aftershocks. It's getting hit by approximately 10 to 12 aftershocks every day. This area is still getting hit hard, very hard. What the major earthquake didn't take down, the aftershocks are taking down. The death toll is over 4,000 people now, with over 4,000 people injured. Okay? 4,000 people injured and over 4,000 people killed as a result of the earthquake in Myanmar. We go almost directly north up here to China. This is Nagpoo, China. This is also 4.7 earthquake, 10 kilometers deep, 6.2 miles deep. Over here, this is northern Nepal, along the Chinese border. This is a 4.2 moderate earthquake here. Again, the energy from the Myanmar quake is centered in this region, extending from Myanmar all the way over here to Afghanistan, Tajikistan, and Kazakhstan. We continue to have earthquakes ranging in size from 4.2 all the way up to 5.6 in this area. This area is the home of locked up earthquakes. It's a home to locked up earthquakes. We're going to see many more earthquakes in the range of moderate to very large earthquakes here in the very near future. That's going to continue to happen. Let's go over here to Iran. This is a 4.4 earthquake here in Iran. Now, folks, what's going on with this? This is over in south central Iran, Nurbad, Iran. This is a 4.4 earthquake, also 10 kilometers deep. Let's go further to the west here, northern Turkey, north central Turkey. This is a 4.0 earthquake here. This is 7.1 kilometers deep. 7.1 kilometers deep, just over 3 miles deep. Okay? More earthquakes in this in northern Turkey, southern Turkey, and western Turkey. Over here in eastern Turkey, there's probably 24 earthquakes. I'm going to say probably because that's what I saw earlier this morning. 24 earthquakes in the area of eastern Turkey and the Syria border region. Why is that? Back on February 3rd, 2023, there was a major earthquake here. That major earthquake killed 5,000 people and injured 5,000 others. It also left a huge hole in the ground, a great big 14-mile-long fissure that was 8 stories deep here in Turkey. That's what happens when we have a major earthquake along the craton boundaries. That's what happened here. Okay, we're still having earthquakes here today. USGS is still not showing them to us. Still having earthquakes over here in the Dolkanese Islands here. These Dolkanese Islands just west of Turkey belong to Greece. These islands belong to Greece. Earthquakes continue happening right here in this region because there's magma beneath the ground here. Magma down in the crust of the earth that's going through the bedrock, hitting the bedrock here, causing rock fracturing. The magma's moving here, and it's going to continue to move here until it finally erupts as either a underwater eruption or a volcanic eruption on one of these islands, such as this one here. Okay? That is one of the primary areas where we've seen earthquakes, as well as down here. Okay? We're going to continue seeing earthquakes here in the foreseeable future. That's what's going on. Okay? More earthquakes here in Greece, approximately 19 earthquakes here in north and central Greece here. That's normal. That's normal. These earthquakes are anywhere from 1.2 all the way up to 3.4. 1.2 tremors to 3.4 earthquakes here. Okay? That's happening. That's happening. Richard Smith says the world is going off the rails on a crazy train. Pretty much. Wait till I show you what I have to show you in a few minutes. You're going to get your mind blown. You're going to get your mind blown. Down here in southwestern Italy, we still have a volcano that's throwing up earthquakes today. There is a volcano right here throwing up earthquakes today. Again, the volcano is still having molten magma beneath the ground, trying to break through bedrock, working its way to the volcanoes. Now, with that said, we've talked a lot about volcanoes. We're going to talk more about volcanoes tonight, I promise you. But magma is working underground here. All of the volcanoes worldwide are recharging. They're recharging. Remember that as we talk about these volcanoes tonight. You're going to want to know what's going on here. So folks, As we go through tonight, make sure all your friends, your neighbors, your family, your social media contacts, even the people you work with, see what we're going to talk to you about tonight, especially the people on the West Coast. Especially on the people on the West Coast. They need to know what's going on. I promise you, you're going to get your mind blown away. Here in southwestern Italy, earthquakes still happen here because, again, this volcano is trying to erupt. Some of these cities, as I've said before, have tried to evacuate quite a few residents from this area because of that volcano. As we get more and more information, we'll pass it on to you. As we get more and more information about this, we'll pass it on to you. But this is real. This is very real here in southwestern Italy. Up here in north central Italy here, right here, we're having a series of earthquakes here. A very large swarm of minor earthquakes and tremors. A very large swarm of micro earthquakes and tremors in this area. In the past, when this has happened, we typically have seen a 5.0 to 5.1 earthquake right in this region right here. And that's what I expect to see happen again. But again, this area is blowing out here with tremors and earthquakes. Tremors and minor earthquakes in this area. Going to the north, up here in northeastern Italy here, tremors and 2.2 earthquake here. Going over here to the north, or not, well, the southwest here, more earthquakes here. These are all tremors here in northern Italy. Up here in the Alps Mountains, tremors again. Switzerland, over here in France, tremors and minor earthquakes here. Tremors and minor earthquakes here. We've been told that there was also a 3.2 earthquake here in central France. I don't have any more information to prove it to you, but that's what we were told by a scientist here earlier. Okay, 3.2 earthquake here. Down here in Spain, down here the border region of Spain and France, 2.5 and 1.2 tremors here at the border region. That's normal. That is completely normal. It happens every day here. Southern Spain, just 2 earthquakes down here. And over here in the Azore Islands, 3.2, 3.4, and 3.57 earthquakes down here in the Azore Islands, just off the southwest coast of Portugal and Spain down here. It's happening. It's going to continue to happen. Now, over here in the South Atlantic Ocean, down here in the South Sandwich Islands, this is a 5.1 earthquake here. A large 5.1 earthquake, 115 kilometers deep in the South Atlantic Ocean. This earthquake here is going to gradually work its way through the Antarctic ridge here. This Antarctic ridge is a tectonic plate ridge here. This earthquake here in the South Sandwich Islands is going to work its way east over here to the Mid-Atlantic Fault. That's going to continue up the Mid-Atlantic Fault, just like you see this earthquake here in the South Central Atlantic Ocean. This is a 5.2 large earthquake here north of Ascension Island here in the north, actually, what should I say? The south central part of the Mid-Atlantic. South central part of the Mid-Atlantic. This here is declared this Central Atlantic Ocean here. Down here, I believe this is northern part of the South Atlantic Ocean here. 5.2 earthquake here on the Mid-Atlantic Ocean ridge here. We're seeing earthquakes work their way north all the way up here, even onto Iceland, even into Iceland here. Now we have some earthquakes here in Iceland. Most of those earthquakes are, in general, up here in the North Reykjavik area. The North Reykjavik area right up in here. Along what? The Mid-Atlantic Fault here in Iceland. The Mid-Atlantic Fault here. The Reykjanes Peninsula area here. We fully expect another fissure eruption here of the volcano here. It's likely to happen almost any day now. Almost any day. Okay? That's what we have to tell you about earthquakes here. As you can see, the USGS is not showing us any earthquakes along the eastern seaboard of the United States or Canada. What a joke. There are minor earthquakes here. There are some small earthquakes in the United States on the East Coast as well. We're going to talk about those in a few minutes. Now, over here in South America, look, They're not showing even one earthquake here. What a joke. What a joke. They're showing an earthquake just barely happened here. This is a 4.8 moderate earthquake here. It's on the upper side of the fours. 4.6 to 4.8 is the largest of the moderate earthquakes. 4.6 to 4.9 are considered to be on the upper end of the moderate scale. This is a 4.8. This is also 10 kilometers deep, 6.2 miles deep. This is in north-northwest Yurimaguas, Peru. North-northwest of Yurimaguas, Peru. Now, there are a lot more earthquakes. There are a ton of earthquakes over here in north-central Chile. North-central Chile and over here in the even eastern Argentina here. Eastern Argentina. A bunch of earthquakes. And again, the USGS continues to lie about those earthquakes. They're not showing them. They're not showing them. Why? Because they don't think they have to. They honestly believe that they don't have to show them to you. Interesting, huh? It really is. It really is. It's sad. It's very sad. Let me show you some of those earthquakes. Let me turn on the webcam here so I can show you what is going on here. In fact, let me get out of the USGS earthquakes right now. I'll come back to that in just a few minutes. I'm going to enlarge the webcam picture so you can see what I'm talking about. This is important. Look at these earthquakes here in north central Chile. 6 earthquakes there. 6 earthquakes along that tectonic plate over in northern Chile. Antofagasta, Chile. This is a 2.7 earthquake there. Over to the east here. Chichuy, Antofagasta. This is a 3.3 earthquake here. 3.3 earthquake there. To the north, 3 more earthquakes. This is a 3.6 earthquake here. Just north of there. This is a 3.5 earthquake there. Just north of that, we have another 2.9 earthquake there. But we're not done yet. We're not done yet. Let's show you these earthquakes over here in central Chile here. 4 earthquakes. Actually, let's go down to south central Chile here. Lago Ronco, Los Rios, Chile. This is a 3.4 earthquake here. Going north along the coastline. This is O'Higgins, Chile. This is a 3.4 earthquake here. Going north. San Juan Province, Argentina, along the Chile-Argentine border. This is a 2.5 earthquake there. Right next to it, just to the north there, is a 2.6. Again, the Chile-Argentine border in the Andes Mountains there. To the north and east, this is a 2.8. Over in the lower east side of the Andes Mountains here, Andes Mountains here is a 2.5 in Argentina. In the eastern foothills of the Andes Mountains there. That's there. So right here in central Chile, we have a 2.5, a 2.5, a 2.6, and a 2.8 earthquake. South of there, O'Higgins, we had a 3.4, and south of there in Lago Ronco, Los Rios, we had a 3.4. Then north of there, this is Pastos Largos, Lo Rio, Argentina. 2.9, 3.0 earthquake there. A lot of activity, right? Oh, heck yes. Heck yes. 14 earthquakes right there. Then this earthquake over in Riberos, Loreto, Peru, a 4.7. 14 earthquakes so far in South America. And they are not even talking about what one. Over here in Venezuela, we have a 2.4 earthquake there. Okay? Incredible. And that 2.4 earthquake, look where it's at. Look where that earthquake's at. It's on the western side of the earthquake fault that starts over in Guatemala. Okay? Starts over in Guatemala. Then it runs all the way east out near runs all the way just south of the islands it was named after. It continues eastbound over Jamaica, skirts the island of Cuba, goes north of Haiti and the Dominican Republic. It goes north of Puerto Rico, north of the U.S. and British Virgin Islands.
Coral Islands, plus, light, magnitude 4.7, 30 minutes ago.
Then that earthquake fault suddenly turns south. Goes southeast of the outlying islands here. Then it cuts and runs west over here to Venezuela. Okay? Read it in Unreal. Over here in southwestern Puerto Rico. Southwestern Puerto Rico. Maria Antonia, Puerto Rico, this is a 2.3 earthquake. It's an aftershock of two man-made 8.0 and 8.4 earthquakes from 2019. Two man-made earthquakes from 2019, 8.0 and 8.4 earthquakes. Over here in western Puerto Rico, this is a 1.94 tremor. 1.94 tremors. Okay? That may also, well, I don't think that tremor is an aftershock of those two major earthquakes from 2019, but the one is. The one earthquake is. Now, I want to go over to northwestern Washington. Look what they're not showing us here. We're seeing 5 earthquakes here in western Washington. Western Washington. Let's go up here to the north. North of Mount Rainier, Buckley, Washington. We have a 0.43 and a 1.72 tremor here near Green. This is called Greenwater, Washington. North of Mount Rainier. Look, they're not showing anything at Mount Rainier at all. At all. Tonight, I'm going to show you plenty of earthquakes and tremors here at Mount Rainier. They're not showing anything at all. Not anything at all over here, Mount St. Helens. One earthquake southwest of Mount St. Helens. Let me show you that right now. This is a 1.1 tremor here, southwest of Mount St. Helens. I'm going to show you plenty of earthquakes there. Plenty of earthquakes there as well. Over here to the southwestern coast of Oregon here. Nehalem, Oregon. This is a 1.5 tremor. They're only admitting to 1.5 tremor. I'm going to tell you right now. The entire west coast of the United States and Canada, southwestern Canada, earthquake city. Earthquake city, guys. Washington, Oregon, and Northern California are full of earthquakes. They're full of earthquakes. I'm just warning you right now. I'm going to prove it to you in a few minutes. Now, let's go down to Mount Hood. Mount Hood. In the past, the USGS is showing us earthquakes at Mount Hood. Here at Government Camp, they're showing a 0.12 tremor. Actually, microquake. A 0.12 microquake here at Government Camp, Mount Hood. That's the only one. But I'm going to show you a ton of earthquakes there. I'm going to show you a ton of earthquakes. Now, what I'm going to show you may amaze you. What I'm going to show you may amaze you. I'm just telling you. It may blow you away, but what I'm showing you should be very concerned about. What I'm going to show you right now, you should be very concerned about. You should be very concerned because if you have family here or you live here yourself, you need to very much be aware of what's going to happen. Okay? What I'm going to show you now concerns all of you. Literally all of you. Okay? Let's go up here. Okay? This is the Lewis and Clark National Resource Center. This is a museum of sorts. This is a museum of sorts. Look at what we're showing you here. Okay? Now, look over here at approximately, let me enlarge this so you can see what we're talking about. Look at this. Between, say, 7:30 on the blue line here, you see where it says 07, that's 7 o'clock in the morning. On the black line, we go down to the blue line. Look at the blue line here. The blue line and the black line and the red lines going down after approximately 9:30 this morning. Guess what? Harmonic tremors. Harmonic tremors. Look at the rest of this seismic right here. Guys, this is movement. This is movement. Okay? This is the Lewis and Clark National Resource Center. Why should you be concerned? These are harmonic tremors and other tremors here as well. Some of this is made by magma. Others of it is the earth shaking. The earth shaking. Richard Smith says the lines are hypnotizing. Yeah, they could be. This is the earth shaking, guys. The earth shaking. Now, I'm going to explain it to you why it's happening. I'm going to explain to you why it's happening. The USGS is not showing any of this. They're not showing any of this. Why? Mary Undoer of Knott says pretty soon the USGS will have to redefine what an earthquake is. They've already started that. They've already started. They're calling 4.0, 4.9 light earthquakes. They're trying to get everybody to believe that light earthquakes will cause damage. They do. They do. They should have left those earthquakes alone, calling them moderate earthquakes, because that's exactly what they are. That is exactly what they are, is moderate earthquakes that cause moderate damage. The 5.0, 5.9 are being called moderate earthquakes. Moderate earthquakes. Moderate earthquakes can kill people. These 5.0, 5.9 were called large earthquakes. Large earthquakes can kill people. But their moderate earthquakes are going to kill people, and they already are. I don't know why they did this except to try to get people to believe a bunch of garbage. Bunch of garbage. But this is just the beginning of what I want to show you tonight. Let's hang in here. We have a lot of stuff to show you here. That's the beginning. Let's go down to Bend in Oregon. A lot of the areas I'm going to show you are along the coast of Oregon and Washington. There's a reason for it. Look at what I'm showing you. Up at the top. Up at the top. Look what we're having here. This is tremors. Again, the thinner the lines, less magma. The thicker the lines, more magma. Okay? It's called magma pulse signals. Magma pulse signals. Now, when you see little tiny lines going through each of the other horizontal lines, those are tremors. Those are tremors. But look what's happening here later this morning. We're actually seeing 2.9, 3.0 earthquakes here in Bend in Oregon. But they're not talking about it on the map, are they? They're not showing any of these earthquakes at all. Over here, after 8:30 this morning, 8:30 this morning on the blue line here, we have a 3.0 earthquake. Then we go further to the right down the line. Further right down the line, this is approximately 8:36 a.m. this morning. 3.2, 3.3. Prior to that on the black line, that would be 8:06 this morning. That is approximately 2.9, 3.0 earthquake. Let's move across to the black line here to the right. This is 8:11. Again, a 3.0 earthquake. We'll go further to the right. 8:16 a.m. this morning. 3.3, 3.4 earthquake here. They're not talking about it, are they? Heaven forbid. Heaven forbid they tell us what's actually going on. Again, we drop down to this blue line at 8:30. Again, a 3.0 earthquake. To the right, 3:36, 3.1, 3.2. We go further here to the right on the blue line. Again, this is 9:10 a.m. here. 3.0 earthquake again. Further over to the right, a 2.7, 2.8 earthquake. Further over to the right on the same blue line, here is a 2.7, 2.8 earthquake. After that, all we are seeing are tremors caused by magma beneath the surface here in Bandon, Oregon. This is not a volcano. This is not a volcano. This is under the ground. Under the ground. Magma channels working their way to a volcano. Working their way to a volcano. Let's go over here to Bay Center Road, South Bend, Washington. South Bend, Washington. Look at this. Look up here to the top. Okay? Up at the top, on the top line is 5 p.m. yesterday afternoon. 5:15 on the red line. Below that, 5 p.m. on the black line. I don't know why they're reversing the order of these lines, but the black line is actually 5 p.m., the red line is 5:15. We jump down to 6 p.m. on the black line. 1800 is 18 here on the left-hand side, is 1800 hours military time, 6 p.m. On the black line moving to the right, look at all these tremors here. And you see an increase in the size of the line. Increase in size of the line is the magma pulse signal showing you more magma headed to the volcano here, or headed to a volcano. But you're also seeing earthquakes here as well. You're also seeing tremors and earthquakes here. Let's drop down here to the red line here, which is actually 7:15. It says 19 over on the left-hand side, which would be 1900 hours, which is actually on the line to the bottom of the red line here, which is 7 o'clock. The red line is 7:15. Over here on the left-hand side, we're seeing some minor earthquakes. 1.9 tremor, 2.0 earthquake. Then we come over here to just before 7:16. 2.7, 2.8 earthquake. Further over to the right, a 2.2 earthquake, minor earthquake. You see these other vertical lines here? There are tremors here. Tremors here after 7:30, 7:15, actually 7:15 p.m. last night. Then we drop down here to 2000 hours, 8 p.m. 21, 9 p.m. 2200, 10 p.m. 2300, 11 p.m. And then 0000 hours over here on the left-hand side is midnight. Between 7:15, actually no, 7:20 p.m. last night, they show very little activity. That's because the seismologist turns down the seismograph. The seismologist turned down the seismograph till approximately 6:30 this morning. That's when the seismologist turned up the seismograph. And then all of a sudden, we see tremors like we saw earlier last night. Tremors like we saw earlier last night show up here because the seismologist turned the seismograph down for many hours. Many hours. From 7:20 p.m. until just before 6:30 this morning. 8 to 9 hours of almost nothing. Yes, it shows some magma coming into the magma chamber, but very little. Very thin lines here, horizontal lines I'm talking about. Also shows some very tiny, tiny microquakes, but that's all. We don't see any more activity like we saw before because the seismologist turned down the seismograph. The seismologist turned down the seismograph here. It's incredible what they don't want us to see. South Bend, Washington here. Let's continue this. Let's go over to Brookings, Oregon. Look at this, guys. This is an entirely different kettle of fish here. Guess what? Can anybody tell me what we have here? These are harmonic tremors. Most of this is just harmonic tremors. However, there are some minor earthquakes here as well. Harmonic tremors and minor earthquakes here. Brookings, Oregon. Again, we're talking along the coast of Oregon. The coastline of Oregon, guys. We can no longer ignore what's going on. We are seeing activity here along the coastline. What does it represent? Seismic events happening in the Cascadia region. Seismic events happening in the Cascadia region here. Okay? I believe we're going to see a Cascadia earthquake. And I believe this is just the beginning of it. This is just the beginning of the Cascadia earthquake. This is not the only one. Let's go to Cape Blanco, Oregon here. Look at this. The same kind of images we're seeing in Brookings, we're seeing here at Cape Blanco, along the coastline of Oregon. Same kind of thing going on here. Let's keep moving here. I want to go to Coos Bay, Oregon here as well. Look at this. Look at this. Last night we're seeing some tremors here and microquakes. Then this morning, after approximately 3:45 to 4 a.m. this morning, look what happened. All of a sudden, these harmonic tremors happen. These harmonic tremors happen. But look what's happening through these harmonic tremors. We also see some minor tremors as well. We see some minor tremors. Then we go down to this black line here after 2 p.m. this afternoon. On the bottom, the black line at the bottom. This is after 2 p.m. this afternoon. We have a 2.0 earthquake. 2.0 earthquake here. On the red line just above it, on the right to the right, 1.8 tremor. 1.8 tremor. Further over here to the right, we have a 2.8 earthquake, or 2.6 earthquake, I'm sorry, 2.6 earthquake. Over here on the far right-hand side, okay, on the red line. Folks, this would be 2:29 p.m. today. 2:29 p.m. today. A 2.8 earthquake. 2.8 earthquake. These harmonic tremors lead to full-blown tremors, lead to minor earthquakes. And pretty soon we're going to see 2.0, 2.5, 3.5 small quakes, 4.0 moderate quakes, and we're going to see soon 5.0 large quakes here. I'm telling you guys, it's going to happen. Coos Bay, Oregon. Coos Bay, Oregon. Now, I want to drop down to the volcano over at Crater Lake. Before I came on this program this evening, I was talking with my buddy Brokefish N. Brokefish N. Many of you know him. He's been here on the channel before, and he may well come here on the channel while we're on the air tonight. Okay? He first alerted me this when we were talking about 4:30. We started talking till at about 4:30 this afternoon, and he was still talking to me just about 6:10. 6:10. I came on the air shortly after that. Let's go over to Crater Lake. Crater Lake Bunkhouse. Crater Lake Bunkhouse. Look what we have here. Yes, we're seeing some harmonic tremors here, but we're also seeing earthquakes here. This seismogram depicts activity happening at Crater Lake over the south central part of the lake. This is a volcano. Crater Lake is a alpine volcano at the top of it. Alpine Lake. Alpine Lake. Below it is a volcano. Hundreds of years ago, when this volcano last erupted, there was a great big huge volcanic blast. Huge blast. Lava went up high into the atmosphere. When the eruption calmed down, after some time it solidified and there was a hard lava rock resulting from the last eruption. After that, groundwater, rain, and snow developed here, and pretty soon it started filling the top of the volcano with water. Now it's a cold alpine lake here. Here in the volcano is still rumbling. As I said before, each and every volcano is recharging. Crater Lake is also recharging. Here you see early this morning, starting about 6:30, 7 o'clock this morning, tremors, harmonic tremors for the most part. Yes, other tremors also, but harmonic tremors for the most part. Guys, Crater Lake is active. Crater Lake is very active, as you can see. We can't let this go. We can't let this go. This is South Central Oregon. Crater Lake is South Central Oregon. Now I've shown you earthquakes here. Let me go over and show you southeast Crater Lake. I'm going to go over to what they call Mount Scott, which is on the southeast side of the volcano here. Look at this. See these wavy lines? These are very low frequency waves. Very low frequency waves caused by magma. Magma causes these waves. Now, what the USGS and the Pacific Northwest Seismic Network is not showing us, I showed you the seismogram. The seismogram doesn't tell us everything that's going on, but this one does. This one actually shows you magma inside the volcano. Magma coming into the volcano. The waviest of the line shows you a lot of magma. What's going on with the seismogram? Between 5 p.m. yesterday evening until after 8 a.m. today, a lot of magma was coming into Crater Lake under pressure. A lot of magma is coming in under pressure. What the other seismogram doesn't show you at Crater Lake is very little activity. Again, the Pacific Northwest Seismic Network and the USGS are deleting the information. They are deleting the information. They're not showing us what's going on. They're omitting the information which is lying to the public. They're falsifying data. They're falsifying data. Crater Lake, as you can see, is a very busy volcano. A very busy volcano. Guys, I can't tell you how busy it is. You can see. They should be showing you earthquakes here at Crater Lake that they're omitting. We should be seeing probably 2.5, 2.8, 3.0 earthquakes here at Crater Lake, and they're not showing them. They're not showing them. This busy wavy lines here, the VLF waves here, is because magma is coming in under pressure. A lot of magma coming into Crater Lake under pressure. This proves it. This proves it. Now in the past, USGS and the Pacific Northwest Seismic Network, PNSN, delete these seismograms as well. In fact, for weeks now, They've made sure that we don't see any activity either at Crater Lake, Fleetwood Cove. They've completely taken that seismograph down. They've taken Wizard Island down. They've taken the bunkhouse down until today. They've taken Mount Scott down even as well. But you can see exactly what's going on here. Crater Lake is very busy. Crater Lake, it looks like it's going to erupt. Looks like it's preparing for an eruption. Now, our buddy Brookfish Inn lives about 40 miles away. He would be affected by this volcano when it erupts. Hurricane Heather says she forgot the picture she has of Mount Shasta steaming from yesterday. Guess what? I believe you. I pulled seismograms from today from Mount Shasta and Mount Lassen as well. Both those volcanoes are busy. But again, up until today, for months now, I have not been able to find any activity because the USGS shut down the seismographs. Shut down the seismographs, not allowing anything to be seen on the seismographs. They shut them down. In a few minutes, I'm going to show you activity at Shasta and Lassen as well. But I want to show you this here in Oregon and Washington. Then we'll go down to Mount Shasta and Mount Lassen. Okay? Again, I showed you Crater Lake Bunkhouse in South Central Oregon. I've shown you now Mount Scott at the southeast side of the volcano. A lot of magma here. A lot of magma. Look at this. This is a different channel on the same seismograph. Different channel on the same seismograph. Look at the activity here. Even more activity here. Which means the other seismograph they're not showing us would have a lot of earthquakes. But they're not showing us that seismograph. They refuse to show us the truth of what's going on. This appears that Crater Lake is getting ready to erupt. I'm just being honest with you. That's what's going on. Okay? Now let's go back to the beaches of Oregon first. Gold Beach, Oregon. Look at this. Yes, we're seeing tremors here. After 11 p.m. last night, we're seeing a lot of harmonic tremors here. Between 11 p.m. last night and 5 a.m. this morning, a bunch of harmonic tremors. 6 hours of harmonic tremors. Then late morning today after 9 a.m. this morning, between 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. this morning, more harmonic tremors. More harmonic tremors. Guys, this is the coastline of Oregon. Coastline of Oregon. Harmonic tremors mean earthquakes coming. Larger earthquakes coming. This is Gold Beach, Oregon. Gold Beach, Oregon. Let's go over to Harbor, Oregon. Harbor, Oregon. Look at this. More harmonic tremors, and we're also seeing some earthquakes as well. Harmonic earthquakes happening here and minor earthquakes here as well. Harbor, Oregon. Incredible. Let's go over to Southern Oregon to Klamath Falls. Look at this. We have minor tremors here, no minor earthquakes. This is all minor tremors here. And then we go over here to just about 7:29 this morning. Guess what? Harmonic tremors again for about 30, 40 seconds on the black line there. Klamath Falls. Minor tremors and harmonic tremors here. Okay. Central Oregon. South Central Oregon. South Central Oregon, guys. Now, I showed you Gold Beach, I showed you Harbor, Oregon, I showed you Klamath Falls. Let's go over and show you Newberry Volcano to the north. Look at this. Newberry Volcano. Tremors all over the place. Literally all over the place. This sigil. This is a sigil seismograph. Look at the harmonic tremors here. This is the most harmonic tremors and tremors I've seen at Newberry Volcano in a very long time. Looks like Newberry Volcano is trying to get going here. I'm not going to say that Newberry Volcano is going to erupt, but it's getting there. It's getting there. It's ramping up. It's ramping up. Let me show you a few more here in Newberry Volcano to blow your mind. Okay? The next one here is right at the cinder cone. The cinder cone here at Newberry Volcano. Look at the harmonic tremors at the top of this. Harmonic tremors here. More harmonic tremors happen after 11 p.m. down to 1 a.m. Harmonic tremors there. Then we drop down to approximately 6:15 this morning. Just after 6:15. 6:04, actually not 6:04, 6:19 on the red line here. 6:19 on the red line here. 2.7, 2.8 earthquake. Cinder cone, Newberry Volcano. Then we drop down here to the black line. This black line would be 7:06, 7:08 a.m. this morning. 2.9 earthquake. 2.9 earthquake at the cinder cone of Newberry Volcano. They're not showing this on the USGS map. Why not? Why not? I'm not done. This Newberry crater here. Look at this. Again, last night on the red line. The red line would be 5:15. Now we don't have a huge thick line here, but it's thicker and then it gets thinner again. Again, this is magma coming into the magma chamber, called magma pulse signals. More magma, thicker lines, less magma, thinner lines. Magma pulse signals. On each individual line, you're also seeing tiny vertical lines. Those are microquakes here. Microquakes. Then we jump down here to 8 p.m., or not 8 p.m., 10 p.m., 2200. You see 22 on the left-hand side, this is 10 p.m. Between 10 p.m., actually 9 p.m., 2100. 9 p.m. last night until 11 p.m., maybe 11:45, we have harmonic tremors. Then those abate until just before 11 p.m. We have more harmonic tremors until after 1 a.m. this morning. Then those abate, and all we see is magma coming into the magma chamber and microquakes. That's all we see until after 6 a.m. this morning. Down here at the bottom, okay? At the bottom we see a blue line, which would be 12:30 this afternoon. Red line after that, that would be 1:15. Black line after that would be 1 o'clock. 1:30 would be the last blue line on the bottom on the left-hand side, which goes all the way across the side graph. Then the red line beneath that would be 1:15 or 2:15 this morning, or not 2:15 this morning, 2:15 this afternoon. So we're seeing harmonic tremors and we're seeing minor tremors there as well. A lot of them. A lot of them. Newberry crater, guys. Newberry volcano is active. Newberry volcano is active. Okay? Now, let's keep going here. I want to go over to Ophir, Oregon. Ophir, Oregon. O-P-H-I-R, Oregon. Look at this. Now, we don't have a lot of earthquakes here. We have a handful. We have some microquakes here. We have some minor earthquakes. And then we have what appears to be at least 2 3.0 earthquakes. 2 3.0 earthquakes. After 6 a.m. this morning. 6 a.m. this morning. The first one starts at about 6:08 on the black line. Microquakes. More microquakes until about 6:10, 6:11. Then at about 6:12 a.m. this morning, just after 6:12 a.m. this morning, we have a couple microquakes, and then all of a sudden we have a 2.5, 2.6 earthquake going to the right. Immediately after that, another 2.5 earthquake, very thin line there. Then we have some microquakes again, and some small 1.2, 1.3 tremors. Then we have another 1.9 tremor, and then we have a 3.0 earthquake. The thin line there is a 3.0 earthquake. After that, some minor tremors again. 1.3, 1.4 tremors, microquakes, and further over to the right on that same black line. Again, this is 8:14 a.m. this morning. 2.4, 2.5. Then a 2.8, 2.9 earthquake. Less than a minute later, we have what I believe may have been our next 3.0 earthquake, and after that, some minor tremors there. Okay? This is Ophir, Oregon. You don't see this activity on the USGS map because they don't want you to know about it. Again, this is the coastal area of Oregon. The coastal area of Oregon. Things are lighting up there. S. North is here in the chat. Thank you for being here, Susan. I appreciate you. We appreciate you being here. S. North says, Richard Smith better than a marshmallow or in a microwave. Yeah, almost. But wait till this marshmallow bursts. Wait till this marshmallow bursts. Okay? That was Ophir, Oregon. Let's go over to Pistol River, Oregon here. Look at that. Pistol River, Oregon last night. On this blue line here, this is over on the left-hand side is 8:30 last night. We go over to 8:03, it's 8:33. Maybe a 2.2, 2.3 tremor, or minor 1.3, 1.3, 1.4 tremor here. We go over to the right on the black line. This black line would be 9 p.m. on the left-hand side, but over here, this black line would be 9:14 p.m. last night. 2.4, 2.5 earthquake. Then a bunch of tremors after that. Some minor microquakes after that, all the way down here to 1:15 this morning. It says 01, that's 1 a.m. on the black line, just below it. The red line here just barely above it. I'm sorry, that's what they've done here. They switch these around. 1:15 on the red line here. We go over here to the center here. Go over here to the center. This is right before 1:10 this morning. We have tremors. Then all of a sudden we have a 3.0 earthquake. You see a very thin, high red line here, 3.0 earthquake. Then over to the right, 2.7, 2.8 earthquake, and then more tremors. Unreal. Pistol River, Oregon. Occasionally, the USBS would show us 3.4, 3.5 off the coast of Pistol River, Oregon, in the Cascade Subduction Zone region. These are on land. All the earthquakes and tremors we're talking about now are on land. We haven't seen these before because USGS has been hiding them. USGS and the Pacific Northwest Seismic Network have been hiding them. We found them. We found them. Okay. Let's go over to Seaside, Oregon. Look at this, guys. Look at this. Look at the microquakes and the tremors here. Yes, we have a bunch of microquakes at the beginning of this morning and last night. Last night and the beginning of this morning, early. Microquakes. Then the beginning of the morning down, actually not the beginning, but the later part of the morning, this morning here. Look what we have here. Look what we have. We have 2.0, we have 2.5, 2.7, 2.8 earthquakes. 2.7, 2.8 earthquakes here. And we have a bunch of other microquakes here as well. What does this tell you? What is this telling you guys? This whole area is rampant. This whole area is rampant for earthquakes and tremors. Oregon and Washington is ready to pop. This may be sending us a signal here that maybe, and I've said before that I believe the Cascadia mega thrust earthquake is about 5 years away. This may be showing us that it's not that far away after all. I'm just saying. Let's go over to Bay Center Road, South Bend, Washington. Bay Center Road, South Bay, Washington. Look at this. Now, these two black, the black, blue, and red lines here. The black line is 7 p.m. here. The blue line here is 7:30. The red line here is 7:15. For some reason, they have them back asswards. On the red line here, we're seeing some minor tremors here. Minor tremors. 1.6, 1.7 tremors. Over here, just after that, just before 7:16. Just before 7:16. We have at least a 2.7, 2.8 earthquake. After that, we have more tremors. Then we come down here all night long. They basically turned off the seismograph after approximately 9:30 on the blue line, or 7:30. I'm sorry, 7:30 on the blue line. Turned off the seismograph. Because why is that? Until 7 a.m. this morning, when I believe they may have turned it back up. All we have is microquakes, tiny microquakes every once in a while. That's not what we had earlier before that. The microquakes and the tremors were ongoing for a long time period. All of a sudden they stopped. Yes, we have microquakes and tremors after that. But the ones between that time period from 7:30 until 7 a.m. this morning were very tiny. Very tiny. Then at approximately 11, well no, this would be 12 noon here on the black line. 12 noon on the black line. We have some time here where the black line gets thicker, gets thinner, and gets thicker again. Magma down beneath the surface here. Magma down in a magma channel in the crest here, moving through the crest towards a volcano. South Bend, Washington here. Okay. Let's go over to now I want to take you over to the northern part of Washington, over to Grays Harbor, Washington. Look at this. Look at the harmonic tremors literally all day long. Grays Harbor. This is near Friday Harbor, Washington, where just a couple, 3 weeks ago, we had a 5.1 earthquake here. Now we're getting nothing but these harmonic tremors. Harmonic tremors here. Grays Harbor, Washington. Now, why am I showing you this? Now I want to go to the tremor map. Look at this. The Pacific Northwest Seismic Network is showing no tremors, no microquakes, no nothing here, up and down the coast. Yet I've been showing you all this time period this evening, tremors, microquakes, and harmonic tremors up and down the coast so far. Guess what? There's more. The Pacific Northwest Seismic Network has been obliterating the tremor map. They should be showing all kinds of tremors and microquakes here. All kinds of them. Even when they do have them, they don't show us the truth. They're not showing us the truth. They do not want to admit, that we are going to have a Cascadia earthquake here. A Cascadia earthquake. It's going to be a megathrust, 9.0 to 10.0 earthquake here. Just off the coast of Seattle-Tacoma area, Vancouver Island area. It's going to happen. Regardless of what they say, it's going to happen. Now, they can deny everything. The seismograms tell us the truth. The seismograms tell us the truth. Let's go over to Port Willapa, Washington. Port Willapa, Washington. Look at this. Okay? Up at the top. Again, this seismogram starts at 5 p.m. Pacific time yesterday. They hardly show us anything going on. Yes, they show us some thicker lines, some thinner lines here. Yes, there's magma coming in off the Pacific Ocean headed towards volcanoes here. Look at the blank areas here. Look at the blank areas. One of these areas is at just after 12:16, 12:17 a.m. this morning for about a minute. Then about 4 or 5 minutes later, another time period that's not accounted for. That's because the seismologist turned off the machine. These blank areas are a result of the seismologist turning off the machine. What happens at 6:15 this morning? 6 a.m., 6:15 this morning. 6 p.m. is over on this black line here. We have a 1.7, 1.8 tremor. On the black and red lines, we have thicker lines and thinner lines. Again, these are magma pulse signals. Magma pulse signals. On each of these horizontal lines, we're also seeing microquakes and tremors. That's because the magma is going through the magma channel here in the ground, headed towards the volcano, and it's a fracturing rock here in the ground. That's what is causing these microquakes and tremors here. You see this all throughout the data here this morning. That's what's happening. There is no major, minor earthquake here. It's all tremors here. All tremors here at Willapa Harbor, Washington. Incredible. Incredible. Again, I'm showing you the coastline of Washington and Oregon here. Let's look at Nassau, Washington here. Look at this. Again, we're seeing thicker and thinner lines, magma pulse signals. But look how these lines bend. The seismologist has been playing games here. The seismologist has been playing games here. You don't see these perpendicular lines on the seismograph. You don't. They're usually equal straight lines. They don't bend. This just shows the integrity of the seismologist involved here. Now, between midnight and 2 a.m. this morning, we see some harmonic tremors. We see some harmonic tremors here. Interesting. Harmonic tremors. You don't see that over on the earthquake tremor map, do you? Because again, they're not showing it to us. They're not showing it to us. They don't want us to know about it. But let's move down the sidebar here. Okay? Just after 3:11 this morning, 2.0, 2.1 earthquake. 2.0, 2.1 earthquake. Then a 1.8 tremor within about 40 seconds later. We drop down here to approximately 9:39 a.m. this morning on the blue line. 9:39 a.m. here, we have a 2.0, 2.1 earthquake. And after that, a 1.8, 1.9 tremor. And after that, more harmonic tremors. Look at that. Look at these harmonic tremors, guys. All of these tremors and earthquakes along the coast of Washington and Oregon. They can't deny it. They can't deny what's going on here, guys. They cannot deny what's going on. Let's go further up the coast to San Juan Island, Washington. San Juan Island, Washington. Up at the top line here. On the red line is 5:15. The black line after that is 5 p.m. Pacific time. Look at all these tremors, guys. Look at all these tremors. Then we come down here to late this morning, after 9 a.m. After 9 a.m., it's no longer just tremors here. It's no longer just tremors. All of a sudden over here on the far right-hand side, on the blue line, 9:49 a.m. this morning, 2.6, 2.7 tremor, or microquake, 2.6, 2.7 microquake. Off to the right of that, a second or so later, another same 2.5 earthquake. After that, on this blue line, you see a lot more activity here. Okay? At approximately 9:30, actually, let's go back here to 9:35. You see some microquakes, and pretty soon you see some 2.0 earthquakes. Further up to the right, 9:37, 2.7, 2.8 earthquake. 2.6, 2.7 earthquake right after that on the blue line. Then it bounces all over the place between tremors and microquakes. Tremors and microquakes. All over the place, isn't it? San Juan Island, guys. San Juan Island. Again, this is the most seismic energy we've seen here. We've seen it building up before, but we haven't seen this before. This is a definite buildup of seismic energy here. Okay? Let's go over to Tall Timber Ranch, Leavenworth, Washington. This is over near Glacier Peak. Glacier Peak. At the top of this sideground, all we're seeing is microquakes and minor tremors. And you can see these thinner and larger horizontal lines. Again, magma. I believe that in this case, the magma is headed over to Glacier Peak, Washington, the volcano. I'm going to show you Glacier Peak in a few minutes. Now, over here on the right-hand side, just after 3, I want to say 3, say 3:41, 3:42 a.m. this morning. Microquakes, 3:41, 2.0, 1.9, 2.0 earthquake. More microquakes in terms after that, until you get to this bigger earthquake here on the right-hand side of this. Okay. This happened at 3:47 a.m. this morning. 2.7, 2.8 earthquake, back to back to back. Multiple earthquakes. Look how thick this horizontal or this vertical line is. Back to back earthquakes for at least 10 or 15 seconds. Unreal. Then we have microquakes and tremors again. Fort Leavenworth or Timber Ranch, Leavenworth, Washington here. Glacier Peak. Fascinating, huh? Again, I'm going to show you Glacier Peak in just a minute. I think I showed you San Juan Island, Washington a few minutes ago. I want to show you Tioga, the law enforcement unit of the Washington Department of Fish and Game. Again, this is on the coast of northern Washington. Look at this. Nothing more than tremors and microquakes here. But it's active. This is active. Yes, we've seen tremors and earthquakes here before. This is nothing more than microquakes and tremors here today. The Tioga Law Enforcement Academy here. Let's go over to Turtleback Complex, Orcas Island. Look at this. Look at this. Here we see a lot of harmonic tremors. A lot of harmonic tremors from 5 p.m. yesterday evening until this afternoon. Look at the bottom of this, the bottom red line here. Yes, over on the second red line from the bottom was 1:15 p.m. this afternoon on the left-hand side. 2.0 earthquake. That earthquake lasts for about 8 or 10 seconds. We come over here to this red line at the bottom. This over on the left-hand side, it will be 2:15 this morning. I'm sorry, not this morning, 2:15 this afternoon. Over here on this red line, this is 2:20 this afternoon, a 2.2, 2.3 earthquake. After that, 1.5, 1.6 tremor. Then some very minor tremors. And then we have another 1.4, 1.5 tremor. We come over here further to the right after more tremors. Maybe another 1.5, 1.6 tremor. Over further to the right, a 2.0 earthquake. After that, a 2.5 earthquake here on that same red line. Okay, in this case, this will be 2:28 p.m. this afternoon. Then more tremors after that, microquakes and tremors. But harmonic tremors all day long. Harmonic tremors all day long. It moved. You also see some earthquakes here intermittently. Orcas Island, Washington. Turtleback Complex, Orcas, Washington. Incredible. Incredible. I want to show you one more here in Washington State. This is the Department of Wildlife Field Station in Dakota, Washington. Look at this. Microquakes and tremors here. Microquakes and tremors here. All up and down the coast. But again, the Pacific Northwest Seismic Network on the tremor map didn't show any of this. Absolutely nothing. Not a thing. They would have you believe nothing's going on. But there is. There's a lot going on. Now, let's go over to the volcanoes. Let's go to Mount Baker to the north, just south of the Canadian border. South of the Canadian border. Look at this. Mount Baker. Harmonic tremors again. We have not often seen this at Mount Baker ever. Not ever. Harmonic tremors all over the place here. Except at the bottom. There is one minor 2.7, 2.8 earthquake here at the bottom. Just after 2:22 p.m. this afternoon. Okay? Unreal. Harmonic tremors at Mount Baker. We don't see that here. We almost never see it. But let's go over to the north side of Mount Baker, Shuxon, to the ski resort. Yes, we saw a lot of harmonic tremors there, but we did not see any earthquakes, but one later this afternoon. Look what's happening here. These wavy lines are very low frequency waves caused by incoming magma to Mount Baker. Incoming magma to Mount Baker. Look at this. Heavy duty magma coming into Mount Baker, it's under pressure. Under pressure. But here at Shuxon, we actually see some earthquakes. We actually see some earthquakes. On this blue line here is after 2:30 p.m. here. This is 2:37 p.m. This is a 2.2, 2.3 earthquake. After that on the black line. Again, the black line is actually 2 p.m. But over here, this is 2:06 p.m. Actually 2:08 p.m. 2:08 p.m. this afternoon. On the black line, we're showing more 2.2, 2.3 earthquakes here. But all these wavy lines are showing is magma coming into Mount Baker under pressure. That would cause a lot more earthquakes than this. But again, they are erasing the data. They are erasing or deleting the data. With these wavy lines here, called VLF, vertical, very low frequency waves caused by magma coming into the magma chamber, we ought to see more earthquakes, and we're not. We're not seeing them because they don't want us to know what's going on. Unfortunately. Unfortunately. Now I talked about Leavenworth, Washington, near Glacier Peak. Let me show you Glacier Peak seismogram here. This is the main seismogram at Glacier Peak. Hardly shows us any data at all. Up at the top, which would be yesterday afternoon, yesterday evening. 5 p.m. yesterday evening at the top on the left-hand side. No real data here except occasionally tremors. Occasionally tremors. Then all of a sudden this afternoon, after 2:09 p.m. 2:09 p.m. we have a 3.3 earthquake here at Glacier Peak. At Glacier Peak. A 3.3 earthquake, small earthquake. Then we have tremors after that. Now, folks, I have the VLF wave seismogram here to show you. It's going to show you a lot more than that. This is the HHN channel here. The Glacier Peak seismograph is a 3-channel seismograph. That other seismic, or the other channel I showed you, was the main channel. This is a secondary channel. Look at this. Again, we're showing magma coming into Glacier Peak. No, it's not coming in like we showed you at Shooksett, Mount Baker. But we still see magma coming in to Glacier Peak. Glacier Peak is a very active volcano. Glacier Peak is a very active volcano. This seismogram here is also showing us the 3.3 earthquake this afternoon. So we know it's true. We know it's true. Demon Catman's here in the chat saying Glacier Peak marmots protesting stopped it. Yeah. Yes, the environmentalists are at Glacier Peak protesting us going there to put up seismographs. The USGS about 2 years ago was talking about putting up 5 more seismographs. The Pacific Northwest Seismic Network and USGS had been granted money to put up 5 more seismographs on Glacier Peak. So far, they haven't done it. They have not done it. Because why? Why? Because the environmentalists don't want us disturbing the marmots at Glacier Peak. Heaven forbid. Heaven forbid. Glacier Peak is an active volcano, guys. Glacier Peak is an active volcano. Let's drop down to Mount Rainier. Guys, I'm telling you, a lot of activity at Mount Rainier. Let's first look at Emerald Ridge. Okay? This is one of the main seismograms at Mount Emerald Ridge, at Mount Rainier. Look at this. Okay? This is the HHZ channel. The HHZ channel here at Emerald Ridge. Yes, we're seeing some wavy lines here, showing some magma coming into this volcano. Mount Rainier. It's active. It's active. Down here at the bottom, look at these red lines here. These red lines here are after 5:15. I'm not sorry, 3:15. 1500 hours, 3:15. What we're seeing here are tremors and minor earthquakes. Tremors and minor earthquakes until 3:20 p.m. this afternoon. 3:20 this afternoon, we had a 3.0 earthquake. 3.0 earthquake. Within about 40 seconds after that, we had a 2.7, 2.8. After that, we had a 2.0. Then more minor tremors and microquakes. Okay? Activity at Mount Rainier. They're not showing these at Mount Rainier. I showed you the USGS map. They're not admitting to but one microquake that was southwest of Mount Rainier, nowhere near the volcano. They're not admitting to a minor earthquake. They're not admitting to a small 3.0. Yet here at Emerald Ridge, they're showing a 3.0. Interesting, huh? Guess what? It's not the only one. Let me show you the HHE channel at Emerald Ridge. Look at the magma coming into Mount Rainier here. Heavy-duty magma. Heavy-duty magma coming in under pressure at Mount Rainier. This should be showing us earthquakes here, right? The other Emerald Ridge seismogram would show us earthquakes. We have not been seeing earthquakes that would substantiate this, or earthquakes that would substantiate this amount of magma. Again, they are deleting the earthquakes. They are deleting the earthquakes, guys. They're not being honest with us at all. This is actually what is happening at Mount Rainier. At Mount Rainier. Let me show you two other seismograms at Mount Rainier tonight. Or today, I should say. Let's go over to Camp Muir. Look here at Camp Muir. All they're showing here are microquakes and tremors and some minor earthquakes. Microquakes, tremors, and minor earthquakes here. After 11:30 last night, 2300 over on the left-hand side. This blue line is 2340 here. 2340. 1.9 tremor here. 1.9 tremor. Then we drop down here to the next blue line with the longest vertical line here. Longest vertical line here would be 5:41 a.m. this morning. Okay, 2.8, 2.9 earthquake. After that, you see more tremors. Then we jump down here to this red line after 10:15. After 10:15, we have another 2.7 earthquake. A 2.7 earthquake here at Camp Muir on the south side top of Mount Rainier. Camp Muir is at the summit of Mount Rainier on the south side. Let's go over to the north side of Camp Sherman. This is Camp Sherman, guys. Now this has some interesting information for us. This has some very interesting information for us. Over here on the right, left-hand side here. See that red signal here? This is called a magma churn signal caused by heavy-duty magma, high-temperature magma coming into Mount Rainier. This happened after, I want to say 10. This will be 10:05 last night. 10:05 last night. These magma churn signals are typically 23 to 24 lines high. Let's check this one out. This one's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 lines high. 40% of real world. 40% of real world. So what they're not showing us is all the strength of these quakes and tremors. They're not being honest. Most of the vertical lines here, you add twice or 50% more onto these vertical lines, showing you the real activity happening here at Mount Rainier. Let's go down here to the blue line here on the left-hand side here this morning. Okay, this would be 11:31 a.m. this morning. We would see a 3.0 earthquake right here. With this vertical line here, it would be a 3.0 earthquake. Let's tack another few lines here. This is probably a 4.0 earthquake here at Mount Rainier. A 4.0 moderate earthquake, not a small, but a moderate earthquake here at Mount Rainier this morning. And just after that, 11:12 a.m. No, I'm sorry. This is on the black line. This would be 11:03 a.m. this morning. Okay? This looks like maybe a 2.3. Let's add twice onto this. This is probably a 3.0 earthquake. So we've gone from a 4.0 moderate earthquake to a 3.0 small earthquake within a matter of 30 seconds to a minute. That's where it is. That's where it is. Then we go over here further till about 3 minutes later, or nearly 3 minutes later, 2 minutes later, a little over 2 minutes. Okay, this will be 2.5. Maybe we're talking about a 3.2, 3.3 earthquake here, right here, and all these other tremors here. Mount Rainier is active. Mount Rainier is just not having tremors, but it's having full-blown earthquakes. Full-blown earthquakes. And USGS and the Pacific Northwest Seismic Network continue deleting the information and falsifying the data, reducing the size of the seismogram by turning down the seismograph, turning the electronic reflectivity to seismograph. They don't want us to see what's going on. They don't want us to see what's going on here. This is Mount Rainier. Do you guys want to see Mount St. Helens? Mount St. Helens? It's really getting ready to erupt. It's getting ready to erupt. Let me show you a seismogram over east of Mount St. Helens. Guys, this is the HHN channel over here at east of Mount St. Helens. This is a magma flow chart here. Okay? These are VLF waves. Guess what? The other seismogram here at Mount St. Helens East Dome didn't show a darn thing. It was blank. Blank. But this seismogram here shows you active magma coming into Mount St. Helens. Active magma coming into Mount St. Helens, especially between 10 p.m. last night, 10 p.m. last night till after 7:30 this morning. Active heavy-duty magma pouring into this volcano, which normally would cause earthquakes. Normally this amount of magma would cause earthquakes. These very low frequency waves are caused by magma coming into the volcano here. Magma coming into the volcano here. East Dome, Mount St. Helens. That's not all, folks. There's more. There's more. The main seismogram at Mount St. Helens SCP looks like this. Okay? This is the SCP September lobe seismogram at Mount St. Helens BDF CC01. BDF CC01. This is a seismograph. Look at the wavy lines here. Again, this morning after midnight, okay, between 2 a.m. and 8:30 a.m. this morning. This shows a lot of magma coming into the magma chamber here at Mount St. Helens this morning. Unreal. Unreal. Again, Mount St. Helens is preparing to erupt. Mount St. Helens is preparing to erupt. When you see all this, you have to imagine what's going on. And they are denying it's happening. Let's go to Sugar Bowl here. Sugar Bowl is on the north side of Mount St. Helens. Look what's happening here. At the top of this is 5 p.m. yesterday afternoon on the left-hand side. Harmonic waves here. Harmonic waves. Harmonic tremors coming from the magma coming into the volcano here. That's what's going on. Look at the harmonic waves going till after 3 a.m. this morning. From 5 a.m. to 3 a.m. this morning, 8 hours. 8 hours. After that, all we have are microquakes and tremors here. Until 1:17 this afternoon. 2.3 earthquake on the blue line. 2.3 earthquake on the blue line. Below that on the black line. This black line here is 2:03 p.m. 2:03 p.m. we have a 2.0 2.1 earthquake. 2.0, 2.1 earthquake here. Okay, out to the right of that, we have the secondary wave. This is at least a 2.0, 2.1 earthquake here at Mount St. Helens, Sugar Bowl. Okay, Mount St. Helens is very active, guys. Mount St. Helens is very active. My dear friend Laura Marie is here in the chat saying Mount St. Helens would have a tremendous effect on Oregonians and Washingtonians. I totally agree. I totally agree. Let me show you Mount Hood to the south. Wait till you see this. Over on the north side of Mount Hood, this is called Barrett Spur. Barrett Spur. Look at the harmonic tremors here. From 5 p.m. yesterday until after 8 a.m. today. 13 hours. 13 to 14 hours here of harmonic tremors. Unreal. This is Mount Hood. And then after that, more tremors here. There's only one earthquake listed here on the seismograph. This earthquake here happened just after 4 a.m. this morning. And it appears to be a 2.5, 2.6 earthquake. 2.5, 2.6 earthquake this morning. Okay, Barrett Spur, Mount Hood.
Last night, magnitude 4.3, 7 minutes ago.
Another 4.3 earthquake in central Peru. Not surprising. Okay, that was Barrett Spur. Let's look at the south side of Mount Hood. The south upper side of Mount Hood. This is Palmer Lift. Palmer Lift. On the south upper side of Mount Hood. Look at this. Last night after 6 p.m. Harmonic tremors again. Harmonic tremors. Hardly anything but minor tremors before that. Very, very minor tremors. Tiny. Then we have harmonic tremors after that. Then you see thicker lines and thinner lines. Again, these are magma pulse signals, showing you magma coming into Mount Hood. Magma coming into Mount Hood. Some magma and less magma by the lesser, thicker lines. Thinner lines, I should say. Then we also see tremors here as well. Tremors here as well. Let me show you another one here at Timberlake. Mount Hood, not Timberlake, Timberline. Timberline. Look at this. Up at the top. The black line here is 5 p.m. Just after 5 p.m. you see tremors caused by magma. You see almost a very, very thin line, and then a thicker line really quick, and then it goes back down to a very tiny thin line. Before that on the red line at 5:15. 5:15 on the red line above it here shows some magma, and then it goes down to almost nothing again. Then down here further this morning, okay, after 2:30 this morning on the blue line, we see tremors. Tremors because we have more magma coming into the magma chamber here at Mount Hood. Interesting. That happens. That happens. Then after 6 a.m. to 8 a.m., harmonic tremors again. Harmonic tremors caused by magma coming into the magma chamber here at Mount Hood. Timberline at that. Timberline. Well, guess what? No unsung deed goes unpunished. Why do I say that? Let's look at Tom, Dick, and Harry on the north side of Mount Hood. Tom, Dick, and Harry. Look at this. Yesterday evening after 5 p.m., we show a line of magma, a very thin line of magma. Then it gets a lot less We always have tremors here, right? Look at all these tremors here off and on. Then after 2200 hours, we have some harmonic tremors come back. Vibrational harmonic tremors here. Those harmonic tremors come and go until early this morning. Iran-Iraq border, a 4.0 earthquake a few minutes ago. Not surprising. But USGS will never show it. Look at these tremors, guys. Look at these tremors here. Mount Hood is very active. Very, very active. Is it going to erupt? Not right now. Not right now. But this proves that Mount Rainier, Mount St. Helens, and Mount Hood are active. Very, very active volcanoes. Let's go over to Yoakum Ridge to the east. Look at this. Mount Hood is very, very active. Yoakum Ridge again is showing these harmonic tremors. Literally everywhere. Side to side, top to bottom. Mount Hood is getting very, very active. I did not expect to see this. I did not expect to see this. This is incredible. This is incredible information. Now, besides that, I already showed you Newberry Volcano. I showed you Crater Lake. Let's drop down to Mount Shasta. Let's drop down to Mount Shasta. Wait till you see this. We haven't been able to see much at Mount Shasta for a while now. That's because USGS had shut off the seismographs. USGS has shut off the seismographs at Mount Shasta. Look at this. This is the LBO seismograph at the north side, or on the north side of Mount Shasta. We haven't seen this seismograph even work. We have not seen this seismograph at work at all. They've had it shut down. Look what we're seeing here. Long duration tremors and long duration small minor earthquakes. Long duration tremor activity. Some of this tremor activity lasting 6 and 7, 8 minutes long. Minor long duration earthquakes here starting at 15:45, 3:45 yesterday afternoon. 15:45 yesterday afternoon, lasting to about 7 minutes later. That would be 3:52 p.m. 3:52 on this line on the left-hand side here. These vertical lines here on these red vertical lines are diagrammed by the computer, telling the seismologist that, hey, this magma is causing earthquakes. This magma is causing earthquakes. 2.0 earthquakes. 2.0 earthquakes here. And you can see the magma reducing itself to almost nothing here, building itself up over several minutes long. Over here at 17:15, which is 3:15 or 7:15, not 7:15, I'm sorry. 17:15 is 5:15 yesterday afternoon. Look at that. More 2.0 earthquakes here as the magma continues to come in this volcano. The magma started over here on the left on the black line. Look at that. Look at that. Over here, this is on the black line here, which is after 5 p.m. Okay, let's drag this down here and find out when it started here this afternoon, or yesterday afternoon. Okay, it started after 9. It started after 5:09, and the tremors build up to 2.0 earthquakes. This earthquake sequence started 5:09, Came over here to 5:30 on this light blue line here. 5:30 and went out here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes long. Unreal, guys. Unreal. A lot of magma here. A lot of magma. And this particular seismic sequence lasted nearly 25 minutes. 25 minutes. Look at these long duration tremor activities here. Long duration tremor activity here at Mount Shasta here on the north side of the volcano. Then after 9:30 this morning on the light blue line here, 2.0 earthquakes back to back to back to back. 2.0 earthquakes here this morning. The seismic sequence started over here on the right hand side. Again, probably after 5:09 a.m. with tiny microquakes building up to tremors. Then at 9:30, all of a sudden, all heck broke loose. And all of a sudden, we had 2.0 earthquakes. Those 2.0 earthquakes lasted an awful long time here. They lasted until almost 9:39. 9:39. 9 minutes long. 9 minutes long here at Mount Shasta. Then here this afternoon. See 13:45 on the left-hand side. This over on this dark blue line here is 1:45 here on the left-hand side. So we come over here to 1:51, 6 minutes later, 1:51 with 1.0 tremors. Go all the way over here to the right till the tremor signal stops. Okay? This is the 15-minute time period, so this would pin it at 2 p.m. Seismic sequence lasted until after 2 p.m. 2 p.m. is over on the left-hand side here. You don't see the 2 p.m., you see 2:15. Line above it is 2 o'clock. Okay? The seismic sequence probably ended at about 4 minutes after the hour. Incredible. Long seismic sequence here. A lot of magma. A lot of magma here at Mount Shasta. Again, this is the north side of the volcano. North side of the volcano. Let me reduce this seismogram in size so we can take a look at others here as well. Okay? Let me show you Mount Shasta on the south side, and this time it's seismograph LGY. LGY. Look at the tremors here compared to what we saw on the other seismograph. This says that the south side of Mount Shasta is not as volatile as the north side, which is typical. 5 years ago on LBO on the north side of Mount Shasta, we are seeing 3.3, 3.4, 3.5 earthquakes every day, several times a day. That seismic sequence has been cut way down, but we're still seeing these long seismic sequences anyway at Mount Shasta. But this is the south side of Mount Shasta here. Look at these tremors here. The tremor sequence started just after 2 p.m. here on the top here. It lasted literally all evening until after, say, 22:45, when the tremors finally died out and the magma stopped flowing. At least that's what it wants to show. The magma stopped flowing here because they shut off the seismograph. They turned it way, way down. They turned this seismograph way, way down. Finally, just after midnight last night, just after midnight last night, they got to a point where it's not just showing 0.0 tremors, 0.01, 0.1 tremors. That's it. That's it. And this carried on until after 8:30. 8:30. Then all of a sudden we see this. This is trash. We're seeing here this morning into this afternoon is trash. Abstract. These signals here every 2 to 3 minutes are trash. Abstract. Down here at the very bottom, okay, you see these solid blue lines and light blue and darker blue here? Those are real. Magma coming into the magma chamber. It's solid. It's solid. Basically, magma coming into the magma chamber here literally for an hour. Actually, half hour. This case would be, each line here is 15 minutes. Half hour. Then after 2 p.m. this afternoon, 2:01 p.m. this afternoon, the magma stopped coming in, or very little magma came in. It started up again after 2:49 p.m. here. 2:49. Went on again for another 4 minutes. Unreal. Unreal. Mount Shasta is active, guys. Mount Shasta is very active. Now let me reduce that seismogram to a smaller piece of itself. Let me show you what is happening at Mount Lassen. Mount Lassen is active. It's very active. This is Mount Lassen LCL. This is over on the west side of Mount Lassen. Okay, look at this. In this case, we're seeing magma coming into the magma chamber here. This magma started coming in at 2 p.m. The magma increased its structure. It increased until about 4:15. Then you see it almost obliterates the white background. That means there's so much magma coming in that it ain't even showing any white background at all. So about an hour. Then it gets a little bit less magma coming in, and then it starts all over. You see about a 15-minute time period where there's very little white showing at all. A lot of magma coming in here to Mount Lassen, a ton of it. Mount Lassen is getting ready to erupt. But look what they're not showing us. They're not showing us any activity. They're showing us a tiny bit of activity after approximately 12:30 this morning. 12:33 this morning, there are some tiny tremors here. But after 22:15, just 10:15, they turned down the seismograph. They turned down the sensitivity of the seismograph to almost nothing. This seismic sequence starts at 12:33 is almost nothing, just tiny tremors. Now imagine this if the seismograph was allowed to be where it was. This might have been a minor earthquake. This lava here, magma coming into the magma chamber here, could have caused a minor earthquake, a 2.0. That's what I'm estimating. But again, the USGS people here turned down the seismograph, so it's not recording much of anything after about 12:15. They did not turn it up again until after 7:15 this morning. 7:15 this morning, they turned it up and we see some minor tremors. And some magma coming in here. A tiny bit of magma coming in. Okay, yes, there is a little bit thicker line that dissipates again. Okay, but they keep it fairly well turned down all afternoon long. All afternoon long. They don't want us to see what's going on here at Mount Lassen. It's very apparent. They don't want us to see what's going on here at Mount Lassen. Sad. Sad. I'm not done. Let's go over to the north side of Mount Lassen here. This seismograph is LME, the north side of Mount Lassen. Look what we have to show you here. Look at all these earthquakes and tremors. Look at all these earthquakes and tremors. The top of this seismogram here over on the right-hand side is approximately 229. 229. Actually, I'm sorry, 244. 244. Come over here to the left side is 245. Look at what happens then. We have some good sized tremors, minor earthquakes. Good sized minor earthquakes. For the next 2 or 3 hours, minor 2.0 earthquakes and tremors. Tremors and earthquakes here. The last tremor we had was at 2146. 2146 last night. Then they turned the seismograph completely down. And I believe they actually turned it down after 7:15 last night. 1915 on the top left of this page here. 7:15 last night. They turned it down, which means this earthquake that happened after 2146 was a lot larger, probably at least a 2.0, 2.5 earthquake, at least. They're just barely showing a tremor there. This was at least a 2.0, 2.5. But they don't turn the seismograph up until much, much later. Not until 7:30 this morning. 7:30 this morning is when we start seeing activity again. This does not bode well for anybody. Okay? For basically 12 hours. 12 hours they shut the seismograph off. They turned it way down so nobody would see what's going on. Mount Lassen is going to erupt, guys. Mount Lassen is going to erupt. Why do I say that? Look at the seismic activity here caused by magma coming into this volcano. We have some minor earthquakes and we have some small earthquakes. Minor and small earthquakes here, guys. Minor and small earthquakes. 2.0, 2.5, and I believe, yes, we may have had some 3.0 earthquakes here as well. Okay? This seismograph totals all the seismic activity for 24 hours here at Mount Shasta or Mount Lassen here. Mount Lassen is a lot more active than Mount Shasta. Mount Lassen is a lot more active than Mount Shasta here. I'm telling you, I've been watching it. I've been showing you what's going on here for quite some time here. Now, I've not shown you what's going on over at Mammoth Mountain. Let's go over to Mammoth Mountain. Mammoth Mountain is over in north central California. North central California. What I'm going to show you is 2 seismograms here at Mammoth Mountain. This first one is MDY on the north side of Mammoth Mountain. Mammoth Mountain being a volcano over here in north central California. Look at this. Yes, we're seeing magma coming into the magma chamber at Mammoth Mountain. We're also seeing tremors after that. Tremors caused by magma fracturing the rock inside the volcano, causing these tremors. Again, largest tremor here was after, this was after 12 12:33 this morning. 1.3, 1.4 tremor here. Didn't last very long. But again, they did not turn this seismic signal back up for a long, long time. It was turned down after 12:40, or not 12, it was turned down after 11:45 p.m. last night. They did not turn it back up to normal levels at all. Why do I say that? Look at these individual lines. They're very thin. They're very thin. That's not what we showed you early on last night. Look at that. This is a complete difference. They basically turned off the seismograph all evening long. All evening and all morning long. They don't want us to see what's going on here either at Mammoth Mountain. One more seismograph here at Mammoth, then I'm going to show you Long Valley Volcano. Long Valley Volcano is a volcano just east of Mammoth. I'm going to go there in a minute. One more seismograph here at Mammoth Mountain. Right here. Look at this. Okay, look at this, guys. This is MQ1P. This is seismograph MQ1P on the south side of Mammoth Mountain. Look what's happening here. Starting off at 3:15 p.m. yesterday afternoon. Tremors. Lots and lots of tremors caused by magma coming into the magma chamber. You see two red lines here. The red lines are generated by the computer trying to get the seismologist's attention, saying, look at this earthquake. In this case, three 2.0 and one 2.3 earthquake here. Yesterday evening after 5 p.m. All the rest of this is tremor activity. Then again, after approximately 10:15 last night, they turned down the seismograph. Just after 12:33 this morning, it appears we had a 1.8 tremor. That's all. Look what happened before that. Look what happened here before that. Folks, what I'm saying is they turned down the seismograph so they're not showing us everything that's going on. Look what's happened here. We have another earthquake after about 7:55 a.m. this morning. I believe that may have been a 1.9, 2.0 earthquake. But they did not turn the seismograph up very much, if at all, until about 1:15, 1:30 this morning. Then all of a sudden we have more tremors. But it's not acting like it did last night. They turned down the seismograph and kept it turned down. Again, they're not showing us everything. Heaven forbid they tell us the truth. Let me show you Long Valley Volcano. Two volcanoes here in north central California. Mammoth on the east side and further east Long Valley, just near the border of California and Nevada. Let me show you Long Valley. This is Long Valley MLH. This is on the north central part of Long Valley Volcano. Long Valley Volcano is a supervolcano. Long Valley Volcano is a supervolcano here. Look what's going on here. Again, the top of this is approximately 3 p.m. on the very, very top line. We're not seeing all the activity though. All we're seeing is some of the earthquakes that happened after 3 p.m. at the center part of the seismograph here, at the upper center part. That may have been as much as 2.9, 3-point earthquake at just after 3 p.m. We don't see the top part of it because it would have been on the other seismograph. I should say. Seismograph is a readout, the seismograph is a machine. Look at these earthquakes, guys. Look at these earthquakes. At approximately 1545 on this blue line here, and you see a lot of red. 2.8, 2.9 earthquake. 2.8, 2.9 earthquake. Go further over here on the black line here. What do we see? 3.0 small earthquake. 3.0 small earthquake. Incredible. Incredible. Over here on this blue line on the right-hand side, 2.6, 2.7 earthquake. We drop down here to this other red line just after 5:33 this afternoon. 5:33 this afternoon. 2.6, 2.7 earthquake. Okay. Then I want to drop down to these other lines here after 6:45 this afternoon, yesterday evening anyway, on this dark black line here. First we have tremors, don't we? Then the tremors turn into earthquakes. 2.5, 2.6 earthquakes, off and on. They'll last for about 40 seconds. 40 seconds. These red lines are generated by the computer to catch the attention of the seismologists. That's why they're here. We're seeing earthquakes, a lot of earthquakes. Again, after 10:15, actually 10 p.m., after 10 p.m. last night over on the left-hand side. The 10 p.m. would be 2200, but we don't see 2200. We see 2145. Line after that would be 2200, which would be 10 p.m. At 2145, we see a 2.0 earthquake. After that, we hardly see anything. Okay? At approximately 12:28 a.m. this morning. 2.6, 2.7 earthquake. Before that, tremors, and after that, tremors. Then we don't see any true activity until 5:30, 7:38 p.m. or a.m. this morning. Then we start seeing some tremors. Over here on the right, we see another 2.5 earthquake. 2.2 earthquake after that. 2.5 is in the red and 2.2 after that. Then we jump down here until 6:30 this morning on the left-hand side. Over here on the right. Over here on the right. This would be approximately 6:40 a.m. this morning. 2.0 earthquakes. Tremors and 2.0 earthquakes. 7 a.m. this morning. 7:02. Tremors, 7:03. 2.4, 2.5 earthquakes, back to back. A lot of magma. You have a huge magma blob here. Magma is what causes these tremors and earthquakes. Magma fracturing the rock in Longs Valley, in the Long Valley Volcano. That's what we're seeing here. We drop down here to approximately 10 a.m. this morning on the lighter blue line here. We drop over here after 10 a.m. until we get over to 10:07. 1.8, 1.9 tremors. Then we come over here to approximately 10:09 a.m. this morning. 2.6, 2.7 earthquakes, back to back. About 35 seconds. Minor earthquakes for 35 seconds. Look at all the other seismic activity here. Basically the same thing. Back to back. Each one of these earthquakes caused by magma beneath it. magma fracturing the rock inside the volcano here at Long Valley Volcano. Long Valley Volcano is active just like Mammoth is. Again, we have not shown you Mammoth and Long Valley for a very long time. I want to show you that tonight. Does anybody have any questions for me? Does anybody have any questions for me? I have shown you a lot of activity tonight here in California and also in Washington and Oregon. Now, guys, judging from the seismic activity we've seen, before now, I said we would probably see a cascading earthquake within the next 5 years. I'm going to bring that down to maybe 2 to 2.5 years. I don't believe we're going to see anything happen before that time. But I am going to tell you this. We may have a cascading earthquake a lot earlier than we once thought. Judging from the things we've seen here tonight, I'm going to bring my forecast down to maybe 2 to 2.5 years instead of 5. It's going to happen. It's going to happen whatever happens here. It's going to happen. Okay? Now, we got some mail today. We got some mail here. This came from Aubrey in South Dakota. We've seen Aubrey here in the chat before. I think she was here earlier. I don't know whether she's here now. I was hoping she'd be here now. She sends a beautiful card. When we were in deep, friends are our flotation. When we are in deep, friends are our flotation. Incredible. Okay? Isn't that cute? Isn't that cute, guys? These are not marmots. These are not beavers, but they frequent the California and Washington, Oregon coast, especially the Northern California coast around Monterey Bay. It's beautiful. Picoy says, nice card. Absolutely right. She sent us a money order. She sent us a money order here. She says, dear Ron and Carol, much love and prayers for you both from Rapid City, South Dakota. Blessings be upon you and yours this day always, always. Give some loves and treats to Crystal and Holly for me. So tomorrow, Carol and I are going to buy some more treats for Crystal and Holly. We already have some treats here. She says, take good care of yourselves and give each other a hug for me. She's in the card, it says here, just wanted to remind you I'm here for you, ready to lift you up. Take your mind off things or whatever else I could do to make the going a little easier. Lula, love you always. Lots, Aubrey. What a beautiful card, guys. What a beautiful card. We love that. I'm going to show, I opened it here right in front of you guys. I'm going to show it to Carol when I go back downstairs after this program. I'm going to show this to her when I get through. Does anybody have any questions for me? Demon Catman just put up our address here again. You can send Ron your questions and suggestions, information, or pictures or complaints. Email is rltnspdema@gmail.com. Our address here is 504 Bethel Road, Box 401, Morganton, Morganton, North Carolina. The zip code here is 28655. Thank you very much, Stephen Catman. Thank you so much. God bless you. God bless you. We appreciate each and every one of our mods here. We appreciate each one of our family members, our EMA family members. Each one of you are family members. You're not just people here in the chat. You're not just people watching our program. You're family members here. We count you as family members. We appreciate you all. Before you leave tonight, please give us a thumbs up if you like this program. Please give us a thumbs up if you like this program. Also, guys, yes, the program is almost over. I usually tell people at the beginning, please stick around to the end of the program. The longer you stick around, the more information you're going to receive from this program. Because if you only stick around 4 or 5, 10 minutes, you're not going to feel the full benefit of our program, and you're not going to see the information we had for you tonight. Because the volcanoes are very active on the western side of the United States, and also the earthquakes and tremors are also active, very active, up and down the entire west coast of North America. Very active. We are probably going to see a cascading mega thrust earthquake, a 9.0, 10.0 earthquake within the next 2 years. 2 years, guys. That's not very long. 2 years. I'm just telling you. 2 years, guys. You need to get prepared. We talk about emergency preparedness on this channel. We talk about earthquakes and emergencies all the time. All the time. Now, just to give you an idea, Elon Musk is going to leave the federal government at the end of May. Already we're at the 21st of April. He and his crews have already got into Social Security. They've removed a lot of fraud from Social Security. I don't believe they have yet got to USGS. I'm hoping they get there. Because as you can see tonight, USGS needs to get swaddled, spanked. They need to get spanked because they have not done their job. They're not giving us the information we need. They're putting everybody's lives in danger. They're putting everybody's life in danger because they're not being truthful about what's going on. I talk about truth a lot on this channel because this channel is all but truth. All but truth. That's it. There's nothing else. There is nothing else. But folks, if you want truth, tune to this channel. If you don't, you're not going to get it. You're not going to get it. I want to go over to 2 Corinthians tonight. 2 Corinthians here, we're talking about the 11th chapter. I want to start with verse 17. Actually, verse 16. This is Paul talking to the Corinthians here. I say again, let no man think me a fool. If otherwise, yet as a fool receive me, that I may boast myself a little. That which I speak not after the Lord, but as it were foolishly in this confidence of boasting. Seeing that many glory after the flesh, I will glory also. For ye suffer fools gladly. For ye suffer fools gladly, seeing yourselves as are wise. For if ye suffer, if a man bring you into bondage, if a man devour you, if a man take of you, if a man exalt himself, if a man smite you on the face, I speak as concerning reproach, as though we had been weak. Howbeit, whereinsoever any is bold, I speak foolishly. I am bold also. Are they Hebrews? So am I. Are they Israelites? So am I. Are they the seed of Abraham? So am I. Are they ministers of Christ? I speak as a fool. I am more. In labors more abundant, in stripes above measure, in prisons more frequent, in deaths oft. Of the Jews 5 times received I 40 stripes save one. He was beaten 39 times. 39 times. Thrice was I beaten with rods. Once I was stoned. Thrice I suffered shipwreck. A night and a day have I been in the deep. In journeying often, in perils of waters, in perils of robbers, in perils by my own countrymen, in perils by the heathen, in perils in the city, in perils in the wilderness, in perils in the sea, in perils among false brethren, in weariness and painfulness, and watchings often, and hunger and thirst, and fastings often, and cold and nakedness, besides those things that are without, that which cometh upon me daily, the care of all the churches. Who is weak, and I am not weak? Who is offended, and I burn not? If I must needs glory, I will glory of the things which concern mine infirmities. The God and Father of the Lord Jesus Christ, which is blessed forevermore, knoweth that I lie not. Paul says he doesn't lie. In Damascus, the governor under Aretas, the king, kept the city of the Damascenes without a garrison, desirous to apprehend me. And through a window in a basket was I let down by the wall and escaped his hands. Paul was doing his job. Paul was preaching to the Corinthians. Every time that the evil people tried to grab him, he escaped. He escaped. Each of us are similar to Paul in some ways. We get beaten a little. We may not get stoned, but we receive a lot of stripes. We get called a lot of things, called we are a cult, called we are everything, but we're not. We're citizens of Jesus Christ. We're fellow citizens with Jesus Christ, trying to do his gospel, trying to speak the truth, trying to help each other. That's what we're doing here. That's what we're doing here. In Canada, they're going through a federal election process, trying to get rid of their present prime minister and put people in power that should be there to help their citizens be better citizens and help their country, lift their country out of bad stuff. I pray for our Canadian brothers and sisters. We appreciate and love you very much. I pray for all of you. I pray for all of you. Those of you who are Catholic, I am praying for you now. I'm sending our condolences and blessings to you on the death of your Pope. God bless you. God be with you this day and always. Praying for you. We love you. We love you. You are fellow citizens with the saints, and you will never be forgotten. Brothers and sisters, that's our program for tonight. If you have any questions or compliments, please send us to our email again at rltnspdema@gmail.com. Send us cards and letters like Aubrey did. We love cards and letters. We love to be supported as well. We have 2 PayPal locations in the top of our program description just below this video tonight. We have 2 PayPal locations and a Venmo location as well. You can use those to help support this channel as well. Thank you so much for all you do. Thank you for your support in terms of cards and letters coming to us. We greatly appreciate it. God bless you. God be with you this day and always. Have a good night, everybody. I love you very much. We'll see you on the other side. Good night, folks. God bless.